This is the awesome sound of this fretboard. It's from ebony. We got this from Madinter, Spain. I think it came from Cameroon, but I'm not sure. But I think so. Anyway, this sounds awesome, and we're gonna use it for a fretboard for a new one-piece, one-of-a-kind guitar. We also gonna install this double expanding truss rod. So now you know, this is episode 4 of how to build your own one-piece, one-of-a-kind guitar using relatively basic tools. Okay, this is our fretboard. We're gonna start, as many other occasions, with a center line that will help us measure everything to our specifications. I am trying to read the grain and make sure that the line is as straight as possible. I'm going with the natural direction of the grain, like so. I've marked top and bottom just so I'll remember exactly how to work with the wood. Alright, now I need to measure nut width. Starting with the nut width, I've decided I wanted a 42.2 millimeters. So I'm gonna do this trick of dividing it to 2, and it's 21.1. Using the caliper to measure exactly 21.1. Measure half on this side and half on the other side. Can even use the pointy bits to actually mark the wood a little bit. Yeah, I have a hole here, I have a hole here. This is my width of the nut. Nice. Now I'll use our scale template. This guitar is going to be long scale, which is 25.5 inches scale. So I'll measure 12th fret, which is right over here. This is fret 22, this is fret 24. I'm not sure I'm gonna make a 24 fret guitar, but this is still fret 24. That means that the end of the neck, at the most, will be until here. Now I have to measure the heel. For fret 22, I would like the width to be 55 millimeters, so divided by 2, it's 27.5. Actually, these measurements are almost identical to an American standard Fender Stratocaster. I extremely adore these fretboards, these measurements, and most of our guitars work with almost the same measurements. 27.5, and this is for fret 22. Small hole here, tiny hole here, and now I can use the straight edge. Now I need the 90-degree angle. Alright, now you have to remember this is fret 22, and we'll probably cut the fretboard like so. It doesn't need to be extremely accurate right now. As I said, I probably wouldn't want 24 frets because actually, really, who really needs it? Come on guys, 22 frets is more than enough for any musician in the world, so 22 frets it is. Now I'm going to use this plane to straighten those sides. It's relatively easy job, and a very fun one. It's very important not to overdo it. I'm gonna leave the pencil lines just a bit visible. Okay, the plane did a pretty well accurate job, but we need it a little bit more accurate than this. So I'm gonna use this 80 grit sanding block. We made this one on our own, it's from Swamp Ash. Almost. Oh, by the way guys, this guitar is called Grace. My wife in English, her name is Grace. So I've decided to name this guitar after her. Of course, Grace is also Jeff Buckley's Fender. So there's another Grace in the world now. Well, it's gonna be. You can actually hear how accurate this is. This is remarkably straight. Let's go do the same for the other side. Just checking to see where I need to work more. I'm almost there. This sounds really awesome. Just slight bump over here. Really tiny. Yeah. Amazing. All right. We have both sides as straight as humanly possible. Now let's start with the radius. For this, before I begin, I'll put a marker here to where the nut is supposed to be, because I'm gonna erase all the measurements here. So I wanted some signs for me to work with. All right, that's 22. That's the nut. This is a slab of walnut, and it is very straight, I know, because I've checked it. And now I'm going to use this double-sided sticky tape. The reason I'm doing this is because it would be very easy for me to clamp it and work on the radius. Now, I want a 12-inch radius for this fretboard. But I'm doing this with a 14-inch radius block. And this is because I have a human hand, and humans can't do a really accurate straight line. So as I move along making the radius, I will eventually make it a 12 using the 14. And you can see exactly how I'm doing it. This is a 40 grit paper. I will eventually change it to 80 grit and then 120, but I'll start with a 40. That's actually already 12-inch radius, and the fretboard itself is quite straight. I'm moving on to the 80 grit. Let's check it! It's really nice. Need to work on the center a little bit, but the radius is perfect 12. Ooh, it's getting smooth. As smooth as an ebony's fretboard. We now need to remove this piece of beauty. We have ourselves a wonderful fretless ebony fretboard. Let's make the slots. I wanted the fretboard to be 42.2 with the nut, is a few millimeters behind what I measured before because I put on a little slack for the finish. So what I'll do now, I'll glue. Actually, I will stick. I will not glue it, use sticky tape. So I will stick this fretboard onto this template, making sure that the nut width is the correct spot and as centered, as aligned as possible. I have these markings here on the template, so I know I'm straight and aligned. Awesome! Now let's get the tool that helps us slot this fretboard. So I have this template and this saw. What I'm cutting here is actually the beginning of the fretboard. It's not the nut yet. Okay. And this is the nut. It's not the 0 point, but it's the start. This is the first nut slot, And now I'll make the 0 point. As you can see, after I remove the inner wood, I'll have a nice fret slot. Now onto the frets themselves. And this is the last fret, the 22. Now I'm cutting the extra length that I will not use. That's it. And we have a really nice slotted fretboard. And we're done with this part of the process. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a fretboard. Hey guys, this was supposed to be one episode but turned out to be very long. So we're gonna split it into two. The next episode, episode number 5, will be about the truss rod. Until then, all the best guys.